Is that true? I went and met with the president of a South American country. I was at a meeting in Peru, and I was invited over to, or not Peru, I won't even tell you where because I don't want to give you a hint. But I was invited to meet with a very evil dictator who's dead now, very evil man. And his cousin, and also who was also his brother-in-law, controversial, asked me if I would go over to his camp, and he said, I want you to come meet my brother-in-law, who's the president of this country. And I didn't know anything about the country because I'm American. We don't know politics outside of America. So I didn't know anything, like I had no clue. So I went, it was that night, and it was only morning time. He's like, oh, you need to come meet with him. You come meet with them. And I'm like, okay, maybe, we'll see. And he goes, well, we'll take a helicopter ride. It'll be 30 minutes. I'll get you back in 2 hours, I think. So I asked the pastors I'm with, who is this guy? And they tell me he's like the most evil man. They're telling me all kinds of graphically awful stories about him, one after another. And I'm like, I'm not meeting with this guy. He'll probably kill me. Like, what a jerk. So I go and take a nap after the sessions, and I have a dream. And in the dream, he is, this dictator is like 12 years old, and he's in an orphanage in foster care, going in and out of foster care homes, which is a true thing that happened in his life to some degree. But it was boarding schools, but it was like really bad ones, and where he was abused and stuff. And then at the end of the dream, he was still 12 years old, and he became the leader of the orphanage. And I saw all these other orphans he's leading, and they're looking to him for advice. And I wake up, and the Lord said, can you father an orphan for 15 minutes? And they go, man, my heart connects to him so much differently when I see him as a 12-year-old who has an orphan spirit. When you're dealing with a little orphan Annie, it's not the same as dealing with huge, Saddam Hussein or whatever. It's like you're looking at him going, oh, or you look down and you go, oh. And it wasn't human sentimentality. He had to relate it to something I can relate to, which is, for me, it's orphans. So I decided to go. So I go there, and it was like, they were armed to the hilt. I'm showing up. I'm in I think I was in cargo shorts and a T-shirt. I was so not ready for a president. And I get there, and I'm standing in front of him, and there's all these people in the room. They're all holding guns. There's two advisors behind him. His brother-in-law's next to me, and he goes, go. He looks at me and goes, go. He asked you to come. He speaks perfect English. Go. And I go, go what? Go where? Go. No, speak. Do your prayer thing. And he wanted me to, because he was just honoring his brother-in-law, who he owed a favor to, and his brother-in-law was using this for his favor. And I go, okay. And I said, well, I had a dream, and not the one I told you. I said I had a dream, and I had this weird thing happen. There's 5 words, and these 5 words, God is saying he will not be with you in this, and it'll work against you, and you'll be taken out of office if you do this thing. And he looks at me and goes, and the guys are holding their guns, they're looking at me really intense, you're going to get killed. And so I say the 5 words, and they're all 5 different types of words. They don't relate to each other, so I don't know what I'm saying. And he goes, you, all get out, now, get out. And he has the 2 advisors, not even his brother-in-law, just one guy with a gun, 2 advisors, and me. Everyone else is out. He goes, how do you know this? I'm like, I am James Bond right now. This is amazing. And I go, I don't know this. I don't know anything. I don't even know what I've said. And he goes, that's an operation we were about to do against another country. I'm not going to tell you anything more about it. And he goes, I can't believe, you're saying God's not with me, and it'll ruin that means that we're going to lose. And I said, well, the other thing he told me to tell you is that he forgives you, and you don't need to ask him forgiveness anymore for what you did at your 8-year-old daughter's party to the horse. And I'm not going to tell you what happened, but it was really sad. And so he starts weeping uncontrollably, Hispanic man just weeping. And the 2 advisors are kind of like, looking around, they don't know what to do. They're like, what do I do with my hands? I don't know. This is weird. We've never seen him cry before. He's weeping, and he goes, I ask God for forgiveness every day for what I did to my family, especially when my daughter was 8. And I go, well, he's saying he already forgave you. You need to stop asking him for forgiveness and start to look at what he does want to do, not look at what you've done wrong. And he goes, this is amazing. So I begin to pray for him. The Holy Spirit falls. He goes, I've never felt love like this. I've never felt God before. Hugs me, tries to give me this, cash, tons of cash. He's trying to, he's putting it in and I'm like, no, I came here for free. No, stop it. And he's just trying to shove it on me. And I'm going, no. And so I'm leaving as he's hugging me, and I'm pulling the money away and throwing it back in his office. And I get in the helicopter, I ride back over, and I knew I couldn't tell anybody this story ever until now he's dead, so I'm telling the story. And, I just think of what was Saddam Hussein's last days of his life after he'd been prophesied to several times by Paul Cain. He was in a cave, hiding out, and he had nothing left. He's reduced to zero. What was he thinking about in those times? Because you think about the most precious things when you're in the worst part of your life. Did he remember the words of love from a prophet who was sent to him during a crisis? Did this this dictator from this country I was at, remember that moment of God's love before he died? Did he turn to Christ? Because I want him to be in heaven. I want to see him there. Not with a reduced reward, but I want to see him there for real, like for real, for real. So why will God send you? Because you have to realize, if you want prophetic power, you want supernatural power, it's a real simple equation. Love plus you equals prophetic power. That's it. The most simple, God so loved the world that he sent you. Put your name there now, not just Jesus's. If you'll put your name there and you'll truly love and you'll keep your perspective, you'll disciple your character to where your perspective will stay in that healthy place, that you are healthy for the world around you, that you're not struggling with their dishealth, but you're healthy for the world around you, then kings will come to the brightness of that health. And they'll ask you. Well, that was it.